How can the way we view leadership create a better world? I've been working on this question for about 7 years, a journey that started in 2008 while watching Zoolander. If you haven't seen the movie, you should go see it. If you have, you'll remember that moment when our male model protagonist looks into the puddle, turns and asks, "Who am I?" And this funny kind of quarter-life crisis moment stuck with me, because I was asking myself the same question. See, I was an operations manager for a company that made bombs. The word missile was literally in my email signature. At the same time, through the same company, I was part of a leadership training program, won some environmental awards, and was active in the local community. One volunteer opportunity was working with ex-convicts to help them gain the skills to re-enter the workforce. I saw the struggles of my mentee, Tobias, as he tried to find even the lowest paying of jobs, anything just to get him back on his feet. And working with Tobias forced me to ask myself, how do I want to spend my 40, 50 hours a week? And the answer wasn't more bombs. So a few months later, I left for business school to try and find the answer. Remember now, this is 2008, so in parallel to my quarter-life crisis is the financial crisis that had punched the global economy in the face. Lehman Brothers collapsed, recession hit. If you're anything like me, you had a friend or friend of a friend that lost a house, a job, maybe both. But what I couldn't help but notice is that all these conversations were centered around governance and oversight. Regulate this, regulate that, like more rules, rules, and rules for the banks. We seem to be overlooking the human element. We forgot that there are people influencing these organizational cultures and people making decisions that led to some pretty terrible circumstances. In the midst of all this madness, as most good things do, my aha moment came over a beer. Late 2008, my soon-to-be co-founder and I decided that we were going to do something about what we ultimately deemed a crisis of leadership. So we launched Emzingo, a company focused on creating a generation of responsible leaders. At its core, responsible leadership is simple. Embrace the idea that people, planet, and profit are not mutually exclusive. It's not a choice between being Gordon Gekko or Mother Teresa. A business's bottom line can work together with environmentally friendly practices, treating employees well, and creating products and services that make money and contribute positively to society. Early on, people were asking us why we thought this would work, especially in the middle of this kind of global meltdown. And the answer was that the crisis opened up a conversation around the role of business in society. And so bringing this concept of responsible leadership to the forefront made sense. We had designed our training company to get people out of their offices and interacting with the individuals and communities that their businesses impact, to help them gain empathy and pursue a form of leadership that views business as a force for good. Some leaders have been at this for a long time. Yvon Chouinard, the founder of Patagonia, has been focused on minimizing the environmental impact of his company's products for going on 50 years. Other organizations are building these practices over time. Just in the last month or so, Hilton Hotels announced paid maternity leave for their hourly employees, part-time staff included. Or you've got a great example of Paul Pullman, the CEO of Unilever, who's asking this massive consumer goods company to view itself as an organization whose products can improve the health and well-being of 1 billion people. Since the crisis, more and more leaders are following suit. It's going to take these Fortune 500 companies, it's going to take entrepreneurs, nonprofits, governments, all working together if we want to truly create a global movement of responsible leadership. The challenge with these big organizations, even the best of them, is that they can take a long time to do this type of stuff. Or in the case of our friends from Volkswagen, as they showed us this week, some companies are just very far from demonstrating responsible leadership. So at any rate, the fun part for me has been working on an individual level. You and I, we're not companies, so we don't have to wait. We can create our own movement of responsible leadership. We can help accelerate the pace of positive change where we work, in the environment, and in our communities. And this is what I love to do. This is where we take this idea of responsible leadership and make it something real, making something we can act on today. So if you remember one thing from my talk, remember a simple but powerful framework that Emzingo uses. Awareness plus experience leads to transformation. Awareness is figuring out what you care about. What are you curious about even? Maybe you heard a podcast about the environmental benefits of public transportation. Maybe it hurts your heart. when you walk past the same homeless person every day on your walk home. Maybe the park where you take your kids or your dog is littered with plastic bottles. So go find out more, get some knowledge, Google it right now. I won't get mad. I can barely see you. And once you've done this, it'll set you on a path towards that second step, experience. Gain the experience to complement that awareness. Neuroscientists found that only through new experiences do we force the mind to view the world through a new lens. So get involved, volunteer, visit a landfill, whatever it takes. Push yourself to engage with the issue that you care about. And after you do this, what does that transformation look like? Well, for me, it was a massive career change. Now, that's not for everybody, nor should it be. So I want to share with you the story of my friend Annabelle. Growing up in Venezuela, she saw a lot of poverty. She realized that lack of education was a big reason why. As early as high school, Annabelle was researching the topic, soon thereafter volunteering with an organization that supported low-income youth who weren't in school. In grad school, Annabelle was eager to see and do more. So she spent her summer internship volunteering as a marketing consultant for a nonprofit that focused on youth development in one of the poorest areas around Johannesburg. Annabelle was really part of the organization during these 2 months. She used the same bathrooms without running water, same offices with spotty, sometimes borrowed electricity, and she ate chicken feet for lunch every day for 8 weeks because that's what the kids were eating. Through this self-awareness and powerful experience, Annabelle realized that her version of responsible leadership was helping people. But not in the way you might imagine. Annabelle took what she learned and this desire to help people, and she translated it back to Venezuela. She recognized that right at home, at her family's office supplies business, there were 100 employees she could be helping every day. Not just to become better salespeople or better office managers, but to help them plan, save their money, make sure their kids get a good education. Her version of responsible leadership helps the family business keep and motivate its employees, and helps those same employees prepare for the curveballs that life ultimately throws at all of us. Now, your story is not Annabelle's, and your story is not mine. You may be somewhere in the middle of your story. But what Annabelle made so clear to me was that you don't have to go halfway across the world to make a difference. You can do it where you are, and you can do it now. So today, I give you permission to not care about everything, but to please care about something. Gain awareness, seek meaningful experience, start small, start now, and soon you'll start to see that mindset shift. Thinking about people, planet, profit will come naturally. You have both the power and the choice to create a ripple, whether it's at work, whatever industry that may be, right here in Somerville, or wherever you call community, or that park where you saw the plastic bottles. These ripples will combine and make waves, and collectively, we can help shape a future with more responsible leaders and accelerate the path towards a healthier, sustainable environment, happier, more productive workplace, and prosperous, more inclusive society. So in the truest sense of the word, go do something awesome. Thank you for your time.